Chapter 1, The Indian Constitution. In this chapter, we are going to begin with football, a game many of you have probably heard of or even played. As the name suggests, this is a game that involves player feet. According to the rules of football, if the ball touches the arm of any player excepted the goalkeeper, then this is considered a foul. So if players start holding the football in their hands and passing it around, then they are not playing football anymore. Similarly, other games such as hockey or cricket also have rules according to which they are played. Each of these rules help define the game and help us distinguish one game from another. As these are fundamental to the game, we can also call them the constitutive rules of game. Like these game, a society also has constitutive rules that make it what it is and differentiate it from another kind of societies. In large societies in which different communities of people live together, these rules are formulated through consequences, and in the modern country these consequences is usually available in written form. A written document in which we find such rules is called a constitution. We have looked at Indian constitution in class 6th and 7th in social political life textbooks. Have you ever wondered why we need a constitution or been curiosity about how constitution got written or who wrote it? In this chapter, we will discuss both of these issues and also look at the key features of the Indian Constitution. Each of these features is crucial to the working of democracy in India, and some of these will be the focus of different chapters in the book. Why does we need a constitution? Today, the most countries in the world have a constitution, while all democratic countries are likely to have a constitution. It is not necessary that all countries that have a constitution are democratic. The constitution serves several purposes. First, it lays out certain ideals that form the basic of the kind of a country that we as citizens aspire to live in. Or the put another way to constitution tell us what the fundamental nature of our society is. A country is usually made up of different communities of people who share certain beliefs but may not have necessarily agree on all issues. A constitution helps to serve a set of rules and principles that all persons in a country can agree upon and the basics of the way in which they want the country to be governed. This includes not only the type of government but also the agreement on a certain ideal that they are all believe the country should hold up. Let's us try the understanding what we mean by this through two contrasting situations in the recent history of Nepal, a country that border India on the northern. Until recently, Nepal was monarchy. The previous constitution of Nepal, which has been adopted in 1999, 1990, reflected the fact that the final authority rests vested with the king. A people movement in Nepal fought for the several decades to establish democracy, and in 2006 they finally succeed in pulling at end to the power of the king. The people had to write a new constitution to establish Nepal as the democracy. The reason that they did not want to continue with the previous constitution it is because it did not reflect the ideal of the country that they want Nepal to be and they have fought for. As in games of football in which a change of in constitutive rules will change the game all through the Nepal by moving from monarchy and democratic government. Need to change it all constitutive rule in order to usher in new society. This is why the people of Nepal adopted a new constitution for the country in 2015. The caption alongside elaborated Nepal's struggle for democracy. Sec- The second, the second more important purpose of constitution is to define the nature of a country political system. For example, Nepal's easier constitution started the country was to be ruled by the king and his council of ministers. In country that had adopted of democratic form of government or polity, that constitution have played a crucial role in laying out a certain important guidelines that govern decision making within the society. In democracy, we choose our leaders so that they can exercise power, responsibility on our behalf. However, is always the possibility that these leaders might misuse their authorities, and constitution usually provide safeguard against this. This is misuse of authorities can result in gross injustice and demo, democrated class class demonstrated in the class situation below. Suresh is a class monitor. He is a bully. His classmates are not to be found for him. Mr. Rao, the class teacher, has to leave the classroom on some urgent work. She asks Suresh to mind the class. Suresh start picking an, on Anil. Anil, I am today to report you to Mr. Rao. But why? What I have done? When Mr. Rao returned to the class, ma'am, ma'am, while you were away, Anil kept talking loudly and disturbing the class. He would not listen to me. Anil, you will have to stay back after school today and write. I will not disobey the class monitor and 100 times. But ma'am, I did not do anything. In democratic society, the constitution often laid down the rules that guard against the misuse of authority by our political leaders. In the case of Indian constitution, about which you will read more later in this chapter, many of these laws are contained in the section of fundamental rights. You may read about how the Indian constitution guarantees the right of equality to all persons and say that no citizen can be discriminated against on the ground of religion, race, caste, gender, and the place of birth. The right of to equality is one of the fundamental rights guaranteed by the Indian constitution. Another important function that constitution play in democracy is ensure that the dominant group does not use its power against other less power people or group. The storyboard below demonstrated one situation in the classroom. The games period is about to begin. Let's play basketball today for a change. No, we will play cricket. Teacher, the teacher decided to settle the problem with a show of hand. We won. Obviously, obviously there are more boys in the class. We always have to do what the boys want because they are the majority. Ma'am should think of another way to make decisions so that our wish also heard. Such an unhealthy situation can occur in democratic society too when the majority can continue to enforce decisions that exclude the minorities and go against their interests. As the above storyboard illustrates, every society in pawns and their tyranny of the majority, the constitution usually contain rules that ensure that minorities are not excluded from anything that is routinely available to the majority. Another another reason why we have a constitution is precisely to prevent the tyranny or domination of the majority of a minority. This can be referred to one community dominates other another. Example, intercommunity domination, where the member of one community dominate other within the same community. Example, intra-community dominance. The third significant reason why we need a constitution is to save us from ourselves. This may sound strange, but what it mean by this it that might at times feel strongly about an issue that might go against our larger interest, and the constitution help us to guard against this. Look at the storyboard below to understand this better. Shabnam is in a fix. She has make a decision make. I have two chapters left to revise for tomorrow test, but it is time for my favorite TV program. I am dying to watch it, but if I want I do that I won't have time to finish my revision. Shabnam, why are you looking so worried? I want to watch this TV program, but I have test tomorrow. If you all watch TV, I will also want to watch. I have an idea, but if we no one watches TV tonight, then I may not be tempted. It is a good thing that I did not watch TV. There are so many questions from the last two chapters. Similarly, the Constitution helps us to protect us from the certain decision that we might take that could have an adverse effect of the larger principle that the country believes in. For example, it is possible that many people who live in a democracy might come to strongly feel that party politics has been so acromanized that we need a strong dictator to set this right. Swept by this emotion, they may not realize that this is long run dictatorial rule goes against their all interested. A good constitution does not allow these whims to change its basic structure. It is not allowed for the easy overthrow on provinces that guarantee the rights of citizens and protect their freedom. From the above discussion, you will understand that constitution play a very important role in democratic society. Now let us try to understand the way in which the above point get translated into certain ideals and rules by studying some key Indian constitution.